UFC.com. Can you identify who that man is in the picture?
That is Alexandria's father. His last fight was June 15th, 2024. So just last month. He is an active fighter.
And this is in the interest of Campbell, minor child, non-custodial party being that's just Zahak or Jahal, I'm sorry, Jakarius Johnson, custodial party being Alexis Campbell Van. And this matters before the court on a petition to establish parent-child relationship. There was service citation on Mr. Johnson back on the 27th day of March, and on this Campbell slash Van on the 28th day of March. So both parties are properly been noticed and served at this time. And I'll ask the state for an opening and tell the court what the state's requesting. My understanding is this election is probably a default hearing, and whether or not this is a temp or a final. Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Johnson is not present. Ms. Campbell is present. The state is requesting the court proceed in default against Mr. Johnson. The state is requesting temporary orders in this case. Mr. Johnson, I believe testimony will show that he's a UFC fighter, and so we don't have a good income report on him. I was wondering if the court might consider appointing an ad litem to try and help us track down his income information, because he has not been showing up to court. At this time, Ms. Campbell is requesting sole managing conservatorship, and she's willing to testify as to why that is. And either no visitation or very limited possession with a modified possession order, a 72-hour notice. And we would be asking for the court to consider using the Bureau of Labor and Wage Statistics for a personal trainer. I believe Ms. Campbell can testify that Mr. Johnson does also work as a personal trainer in between his fights. And I can provide the court with that information during testimony.
All right, then, because yeah, I'm sorry that extreme fighter thing, that's all over the place. So I'm not. I'll have to. You can ask them how my successful years of that endeavor. But we'll see what else you got there. And I'll need specific circumstances on the sole managing conservatorship and the reason for the restricted access. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this deal, ma'am, for me to do something different than standard visitation or give another parent access, the burden of proof will fall on you why that should not be done. It's automatically considered to be the right thing to do. And so if you're asking me to do something different, like I said, the burden of proof falls on you giving me the information necessary for me to do something different. So at this time, ma'am, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and that much truth, so help you?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, you're officially under oath, and I'll allow the state to call you as a witness. Anything at the end of the hearing you think I need to know, I'll allow you to give the court that information as part of your own legal representation. So you may proceed at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The state would like to call Alexis Campbell Van. Ma'am, will you state your name for the record?
My name is Alexis Nicole Campbell Van.
And will you state the name and birth date of the child you have with Mr. Johnson?
Alexandria Olivia Jean Campbell, and her birthday is November 10th, 2023.
And as far as who is her father, hold on, ma'am. I'll ask questions, and you can go at the end. You can tell the court anything I miss. You are certain that Mr. Johnson is Alexandria's father?
Yes.
How did you come to that certainty?
A couple of days after she was born, Zacharias decided to go and get his the DNA test done at a local lab here in Harker Heights. So he went one day, I went another day, and we got the test done that way. And the results came back, and then he notified my sister and sent us the results of the test, and it showed that he was 99.9% her biological dad.
Okay.
Yeah, real quick, is that 99.9 or 99.99?
Yeah, 99.99. Like it was 100% her
Okay, I
him.
gotta get to 99.99, otherwise I gotta order a new DNA test, ma'am. Okay. You still have a
Okay.
copy of that?
I'm sorry.
You still have a copy of that DNA test, ma'am?
I do.
All right.
Let me,
I'll actually get to forward that to the state for later on, just in case. But for right now, I'll go ahead and take it as your testimony, and I'll establish paternity, and the state may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you,
yes,
Your
sir.
Honor. Um, has Mr. Johnson communicated to you at all about visiting with Alexandria?
So he hasn't communicated with me at all about visitation. The day she was born, we did notify him that she was born. He was not present for her birth. But after she was born, we did notify him to let him know that she was born and, she's alive. And he basically said, do not contact him about Alexandria at all. Don't send him any pictures. He doesn't want to be in Alexandria's life whatsoever.
Okay. And did you find later that he had blocked you?
Yes. So I tried to call him from my phone, and the call wouldn't go through, and the messages weren't going through either. So my sister tried from her number, which he didn't have her number, and the calls went right through. He ignored the first call. Then she texted him with a picture and like, "Hey, this is your daughter. She's been born today. We are at this hospital if you wanted to come," because I was still at the hospital at the time. And he responded back that he didn't want to see any pictures of her, never sent him any pictures of her. He wants no contact with her. And basically, like, don't talk to him about her ever.
Okay. Since Alexandria was born, has Mr. Johnson ever sent you any money for her care?
He has never sent any money.
Okay. Your Honor, may I share my screen?
Go ahead.
Okay. Darn it. I gotta find it. Okay. So, what I'm showing to you now, Miss Campbell, is UFC.com with a picture of a UFC athlete who's listed as Jose Johnson. Can you identify who that man is in the picture?
That is Alexandria's father.
So it is Zaquarius Johnson, and his
Yes.
fighting name is Jose
Right name.
Johnson.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing. Um, so you're aware that he has fights as a UFC fighter currently, correct?
Yes. His last fight was June 15th, 2024. So just last month. He is an active fighter.
Okay. And you're not aware of any earnings he makes through those UFC fights?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Okay. Does Mr. Johnson also provide personal training services on the side?
So he does. He is karate or jujitsu and MMA trained. So he does do those types of trainings at a location here in Killeen. Um, and he is one of their trainers on staff. Yes.
What's the name of the place, the gym where he's doing those trainings?
It's called Strike Kings, STR, and then Kings.
Okay. And is that located in Killeen?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I share my screen again?
You may.
Okay, so this is the Bureau of Labor and Wage Statistics for the Killeen Temple area. and I've narrowed it down to just the listing for athletic trainers for the court's consideration. Your Honor, I'm asking the court to take judicial notice of this, and that the mean wage for the area for athletic trainers is $62,300.
Okay. Well, it hasn't to go that high on this one. What's the quarter amount?
Your Honor, this is one of the limited listings that has a footnote that says wages for some occupations that do not generally work year-round full-time are reported as hourly wages or annual salaries, depending how on they're typically paid.
Anything? I'm sorry, it's kind of small print. Anything listed as the hourly rate?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then go ahead and proceed. Thank you.
Ms. Campbell, are you aware of any other jobs that Mr. Johnson usually does or might have done recently?
No, ma'am. Nothing besides the fighting.
Okay.
And the training.
Do you have any safety concerns as far as you or your daughter around Mr. Johnson?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are your concerns just that he has expressed such a disinterest in being around her that you don't feel like she'd be adequately cared for?
Correct.
Okay. And as far as Mr. Johnson's other children, do you know how many other children he has under the age of 18?
Under the age of 18, he has probably around 5 or 6 that are like known. So it could be more.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell, or hold on, I'm sorry. How does Alexandria have health insurance right now?
Alexandria is under the Medicaid insurance.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court at this time?
Yes, I just feel like with the whole visitation, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with her, being alone with him for X amount of days or hours, just because she is relatively still young. She's only 7 months. So I just don't think he will be able to care for her properly. And also, again, like him expressing his disinterest of my daughter, not even wanting to see a picture of her when we live less than 10 minutes away from each other, not showing up for her from doctor's appointments and everything else that she's done in her life up to this point. I just don't feel comfortable as a mother sending her with him anywhere, or anything of that sort. So, yeah.
And does the court want me to go into retroactive support at this time, or?
No, because that question mark on what his real amount is so high. I don't want to go into retro at this point. What is the state requesting for current child support, please, based on your data?
Based on one child in this order, 6 other children, requesting health insurance of $39, guideline support in this case, based on that annual wage would be $564.
And has the state ever tried to subpoena the UFC about what his earnings are, his purses have been, or anything like that?
Your
Or is
Honor,
that
I'm
something
not.
the state is not comfortable doing?
Your Honor, we can try to do it. I'm not sure what response we would get as far as his income there, but we can definitely try it if you'd like.
Okay, do you want me to point in that light, or do it? Y'all do it.
Your Honor, given our office's current roster of attorneys and the empty slots they're in, I would prefer to have an ad litem that could be dedicated to this case and follow through and get that information.
All right, let's go ahead and appoint Ms. Lambert and see if she can get this for us too, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
I know she's more than competent to figure out how to and who to serve and or to just go ahead and order the records. You can clean that she needs to ascertain that he's making any funds from UFC or how much he's earning, and he can subpoena them or he can subpoena their record keeper and let her know that she can set it for one of our Wednesday dockets as far as getting their keeper records to show up with on that subpoena. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because I think it might be a little hard on a Zoom. So yeah. All right then. So, all right. Is there anything else the state is requesting we do here today?
I don't think so, Your Honor. If it's a temporary order, we'll save any other concerns until the final.
All right. Well, the problem, of course, going to have is that sole MC is, being a jerk is not sufficient enough for me to order somebody to be named a possessor concerned. I actually have to have a legal reason to do so. Indifference and all that doesn't count. I'm going to go ahead and appoint an advisor to represent your child on this one to see what she can find out financially about this gentleman and subpoena UFC and his current job. He probably is an independent contractor there, but we'll see if there's any funds coming through the gym itself where the court can figure this out. I'll go ahead and as far as the temporary order is concerned, I'm going to go ahead and name you temporary joint management conservators. I'm going to give you all the rights under that until further of the order of the court. I'm not going to give him any rights in the joint management conservatorship other than have the right to be named a joint management conservator and have the obligation to pay child support going forward on a temporary basis, and like I said, the right to pay child support. And I got to give him visitation. The visitation is the first and third Saturdays of the month from 1 to 5. After giving you at least 72 hours advance notice that he wants to see the child on one of those Saturdays, again from 1 to 5 at either your resident or a spot that you will designate for him to visit, and that's the only visitation until further of the court. So twice a month he can visit with his daughter if he goes ahead and pick up the phone. And let's go with for right now, since he's not here, I don't want to just order app close and put somebody out there in purgatory. So if he contacts you, ma'am, on your regular line, and he does it at least 72 hours in advance that he wants to see his daughter, he can do so. But until then, I'm not ordering any further visitation, and I'm going to reset this matter to allow the Atlanta to complete an investigation to see what the court order needs to be going forward. So at this time, Ms. Campbell, questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right. Ma'am, does the state have your permission to give Ms. Lambert your contact information so she can contact you to set up an appointment with you and to actually visit with the child? The child's only 7 months old. She might not want, there's not a lot she's going to learn from a 7-month-old other than the fact that I'm sleepy, I'm hungry, and I'm getting ready to do something disgusting, okay? But other than those 3 biggies, that's pretty much it at that age. So, and Ms. Campbell, you can smile all you want, but it doesn't get much better as they get older, okay? Not by a long shot. People after they go off to become United States Marines, they're still not going to get much better, all right? So,
okay.
But anyway, yeah, they're all great, man. They are. Anyway, again, so the state will have your permission to give Ms. Lambert that data, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And anyway, if she wants to come by, she'll come by. Normally when they're a certain age, they have to do a home visit. She might just do this via electronic just to see what the home looks like and everything. And she will discuss the circumstances with you as far as the child's concerned. But please remember, she's not your lawyer. She's a child's lawyer. But it's she's going to try to do what's in her client's best interest, which is usually to maximize the amounts that the father has to pay for child support based on the actual data, and set up visitation and make requests for visitation that she feels is in her client's best interest. So, do you have any other questions at this time, Ms. Campbell?
No, sir.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Hubbard?
Your Honor wants to delay setting any child support and medical support until further order of the court?
No. I'm going to go ahead and go with the guideline for right now. That may not be, he hasn't paid anything. So that'll be fair for now, but until we get a little bit more data, and since we're using 6, 7 kids, yeah, if you didn't use 6, and you didn't use 7, use 7 and use that percentage, okay? All right.
And as far as when we're resetting to, does Your Honor have a date in mind, or just
Let's say for a pre-trial and see when Ms. Lambert's going to already be here in August for her to get an update and let the court know how much longer she may need to do those subpoenas and get start to say the FCU, but I'm sorry, we're not going to go with football conferences. FSU, I'm sorry, FSU. We're not going to go with football teams, Florida State, sorry. So we'll see about getting that in, how long she's going to need to get that data and see how cooperative they're being one way or the other. So I'm sorry, does Ms. Walker have a date that she's going to be here in early August already?
I'm looking to see if there's any dockets that have more space than others. I believe she'll be here on 8/13. That docket already has 26 cases, but we should be able to squeeze it in.
Oh yeah, this is an easy one to update. Mom, if the ad item says mom doesn't have to appear, this is just to give us some idea when she'll be wrapping things up. We can always let mom know what the final hearing date or the next hearing date is. Okay, but ma'am, until you go, the ad item tells you okay, for you not to be here, you need to be here. Okay.
Okay, and just to note, I do work for KISD. I work at the high school, so school starts the 22nd, I think, or the 15th, one of those. So any time before that will be great.
Well, after that, yeah, we'll try to arrange around you doing something on your lunch hour now. Which high school?
Harker Heights High.
Oh, Harker Heights. Okay, you one of those new people. Never mind. When I went to school in Killeen, there was only one high school, okay, and then they named one after Dr. Ellison, and that was that. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're from Belton, and I went to school in Killeen for 8 years because Dr. Ellison told my mother, who was a teacher with you guys, that why isn't Michael going to school in Killeen? And she told him we live in Belton. And he said that I don't care. So when they name high schools after you, you get to go where you go where they say you go. All right.
I know that's right. Okay.
Anyway, I will see you next month, ma'am, and good luck with that high school gig. All right, because when I told you that it doesn't get any better, I really meant when they become teenagers, and yeah, that's there. All right, so
I'm gonna give all the experience.
Well, good enough. Good enough. All right, may Ms. Campbell be excused, Ms. Hubbard?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Campbell, and we're off the record, and we'll try to and be sure to remind. I won't remember this case from Adam in a month, but be sure to remind the ad litem that yeah, you're a school teacher, and we need to try to work around your schedule. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and we're off the record.